I've been selling my art for a few years now, and I feel like to this day I'm still learning things that make everything a lot easier and would have been super convenient to know earlier on. I thought I'd just accumulate all of those things and put them in a video, so if you're considering freelance art or have already started selling your art, you can maybe pick up a useful thing or two to just, make the whole process easier. For some background information, in my lifetime, I'd estimate that I've sold around 200 commissions. I sold around 100 over the course of last year, and this year I've only completed around 20 so far because I'm lazy and I really need to stop procrastinating. But anyway, I started selling my art on DeviantArt in, I think, 2020. I have also commissioned plenty of artists, so I'd say that I've been on both sides as a client and as the seller. I've had a variety of different experiences and have made a variety of different mistakes since then, so I'm just going to talk about some stuff that I picked up over the years. 1. Do not base your prices on that of other artists. This is something I cannot stress enough because I think when you're pricing your artwork, the first thing that you default to doing is basing your prices off of other artists' prices. Don't do this, please. There are a few reasons why this can be detrimental to you. First of all, everybody values their art differently, and someone else's prices might not be the right amount that yours should reasonably be. And second of all, it can cause self-esteem issues and such when you're comparing yourself directly to other people. I'd say the majority of freelance artists criminally undersell themselves, and if you try to base your prices off of someone else's, you might end up doing the same thing because you'll feel like you're overselling yourself by pricing higher. It helps to remember that minimum wage is a thing, and you reasonably should be charging at least that amount for you to be getting the money that you deserve for the work that you put in. I live up in Jersey, so here the minimum wage is at a whopping $14 an hour as of now. So technically speaking, for every hour that I work, I should be making, at the bare minimum, $14. I'm not, though, but you don't have to worry about that too much. Keep in mind that this is the number that the government reasoned was the minimum someone should legally required to be paid in order to just barely get by. If you're pricing under minimum wage, then you are underselling yourself. I get that this number varies from place to place, but it helps to just think about this when you're pricing your art. If, I don't know, icons typically take you an hour, they should be $14 or more, and a lot of artists spend several hours on their work. With that being said, it isn't necessarily wrong to take baby steps if you need to, factoring in your audience and experience. When I first sold my art, my shit was under $1. This is just outrageously low, so I don't expect you to do the same amount, but if it takes you a little bit to work your way up to a price that feels reasonable to you, then that's okay as well. Remember that art is a luxury, not a need. You don't owe it to anybody to lower your prices. 2. Your success may be gradual. Kind of obvious, but I wanted to mention it anyway. It may take months or even years for commissions to kick off. If you've already had a significant audience before you started selling your work, this might not apply to you, but if you're starting from square one, don't be surprised if it takes a while for your art to sell. Do not quit your job, make a Twitter account, and expect to immediately sell 2 commissions a day or something. This may happen, but it also may not. It isn't really about your skill or anything like that, so don't get down if your commissions aren't selling. Luck is an enormous factor here. Sometimes the algorithm just refuses to work for you, and that's not because your art is bad or people don't like it or something. Only recently was I able to make a post about commissions and be confident that I would get one. I used to make commission posts and get 0 interactions. Unfortunately, this may just be how it goes for some folks. And it's super important that you just keep trying and don't give up because of a rocky start. Freelance art can be really unreliable in the first few years in comparison to other jobs. You're not exactly getting a weekly paycheck that's guaranteed to you or something. It takes a while to climb your way into a spot where you can be confident in your ability to sell all the time. 3. A to-do list is super helpful. Some artists don't need a to-do list and use their sheer willpower to get stuff done, and I commend them for that. But if you're like me and you're forgetful and get sidetracked easily, it helps to make one. Even if you only plan on taking 1 or 2 commissions at a time, having all the information in one place is just very helpful. The moment you get a new commission, add it to a to-do list along with all the details, so when you're ready to work, you don't have to look too hard to find what you need. I use the website Trello and I love it. It helps me manage my work a lot, and I feel like I've been much more productive and on top of things ever since I started using it. 4. Make a terms of service. If you've never seen one of these before, a terms of service is basically a list of rules or regulations that an artist applies to how their artwork can be used. Even if you doubt that you'll ever run into an experience where you'll need it, just make one. For the love of fucking God, make one. I don't care, just make one. If there is anything that you wouldn't want to happen to your art, add that. Even if you don't think anybody would ever do it. Because trust me, they will. I wish I was joking. It's funny because when someone has something super specific on their terms of service, you just know that artist has a horror story to tell. 5. You are your own boss, so proper work ethic is essential. Something I see that is rampant in the art community is really god-awful work ethics. And I get it, it's super hard to be the sole manager for yourself. Sometimes we have off days, or off weeks, or off years, and your motivation to draw flutters in and out. We have lives to live, and it's not always easy to finish commissions in a reasonable amount of time. I've gone through this on plenty of occasions. But it's important to realize that if you really want to sell your art, you have to be willing to take on the responsibility of managing your time and not biting off more than you can chew. If you have a procrastination habit, you need to safeguard against that trait of yours so that you can save yourself the future burnout and stress. If you don't have openings for the next several months and can't think of a reasonable time where you will be able to work on a commission, it might not be a good idea to take any new ones at that moment. Or if you absolutely need to take new commissions, you need to maintain proper communication with your clients about this. When someone else's money is involved, it's important to handle it professionally. Someone is paying you for a service. You cannot take their money and give them nothing in return. If something is going on that is preventing you from working, like an injury or mental health issue, you need to update your clients about this. Do not ghost them. Please, don't do that. I understand it could be stressful and embarrassing, but they are, again, paying you. Chances are they will be understanding about it and won't mind waiting a little longer. And if they aren't, then you can safely say that's on them and not you. As hard as it is to visualize at first, you can get into serious trouble for ghosting your clients or procrastinating for a super long time. There is a point where this turns from a bad work ethic to straight up fraudulent behavior. If your clients begin to feel like you've scammed them, this will be an absolute mess. Don't let that happen by planning ahead before accepting commissions. 6. Send your clients work in progresses. I admit that I really need to do this more. But as you're working, take breaks and send the progress to your clients. This benefits them because they know what you're working on, and it benefits you because if they want any changes, you can do so before you've fully rendered the art and merged all the layers. Oh my god, I hate myself. You're human, and it's not uncommon if you occasionally forget something about a design somewhere in the process of drawing it. I've had clients point out that I forgot to add something, and since there is something extremely wrong with me, I cannot stand unmerged layers, and usually have to shamefully take an hour to fix the art because all the layers are merged. Could have been easily avoided if I sent a work in progress and was able to fix it before shading and everything. Don't be like me. 7. Accept payment before sending any art. So this one is a little flexible, but please, for the sake of your sanity, never trust your clients. This is a joke. Sort of. Make them pay first. Do not do the art and then ask them to pay after. It can seem tempting because this way, if you end up not being able to complete it, you won't have to refund them. But please, if you send the art before they pay, you are going to get scammed. In that instance, it is literally so easy for the client to just take the art and not pay you. Some people like to mix this up a bit, like asking them to pay after they send a sketch, or asking them to pay half in the beginning and half in the end. In my opinion, if you don't want to get scammed, I'd just pay upfront, but if splitting the payment up has been working for you, that's alright as well. 8. Don't be afraid to decline commissions. You're probably confused why I'm even adding this, but you shouldn't be hesitant to not accept commissions for whatever reason. Think ahead to whether you will or will not be able to complete the commission. Do you have too much on your plate already? Do you just, not like the character? You are allowed to decline commissions, by the way, because you don't like the character. That's okay. That's not offensive. It's not even about liking and disliking the character per se, but rather how much inspiration it gives you. Sometimes I look at a character and I know exactly what I'm going to draw for them and how I'm going to go about drawing it. Other times I don't have a clue. And in that situation, I just don't accept the commission, because if I did accept it, I'd probably try and work around it and save it for the last possible minute and won't enjoy doing it. Even though it's hard to turn down the prospect of money, you really need to balance out the pros and cons. You could save yourself so much stress by just turning down unpleasant commissions. 9. Document all past commissions somewhere. It doesn't really matter where as long as it's saved somewhere. I keep my commissions in a Toy House gallery with what I sold them for in the caption. It's nice to look at and it shows my progress, but it's also a way to store receipts and such. Not to mention, if a client accidentally misplaces the art and wants the file again, I could just go grab it for them without any stress required. It's just a good practice to keep your receipts somewhere. Though a lot of payment apps will probably keep them for you anyways, I just feel more comfortable when they're accessible. So anyways, that's everything that I believe I had to say for this video. If there's anything that I missed that you'd like to add, just comment about it, and maybe the fellas that may be watching can pick up more tips that way. I swear I'll design a proper end card soon. I'm getting to it, okay? I promise. I'll see you next time.